So in this video, I'm going to show you what some people find the most annoying about YouTubers. And we're going to draw a few conclusions based on what people are saying and what got the most upvotes on Reddit. I'm also going to compare the results of April 2024 with the results of a previous post 4 years ago where people discussed the same things that they disliked the most about YouTubers. And then we're going to figure out what are some rules that we as YouTubers could follow to help make the people happier and therefore be more successful. So I actually removed the usernames from some of the comments I'm going to show just for the sake of privacy, because I don't know that they would want their username to come up in this video. But this was posted on Ask Reddit very recently, and it said, what are things that YouTubers do that you genuinely hate? And obviously as a YouTuber, I'm extremely curious of what other people think is the most annoying, instead of going to other YouTubers who are going to give me the top 10 list of things not to do on YouTube or top 10 things to do on YouTube. It's good to hear from the fans, from the people, from the consumers every once in a while. So one person said, stupid thumbnails with their mouths open. So if you go to some of the top, videos that are trending right now, you see a few examples of some videos like these where even though they are popular videos, they do exhibit some of these things, especially reaction videos and things like that, where you find all sorts of people just with really crazy, reactions in their thumbnails. And I think people just feel like that's not genuine and it's not really what they actually feel when they are doing that content. They just do it to get more clicks. Another thing people seem to hate is those with robotic voice narrators. So one problem I've seen a lot on YouTube is people trying to make automated YouTube channels, and they're just trying to do that to make money. And then they'll actually go and post a video of them like, this is how to make a $10,000 per month automated YouTube channel without being on camera or something like that. There's a lot of stuff that's been going out in the last year or two with that, especially with AI. And unfortunately, I think that hurts the actual quality of the video, because videos are typically known for the human element. The human element is what makes the video great. It's what adds to YouTube over something like a blog or something like that, or even a podcast, because you're talking about seeing and listening to a human, which is the closest thing to like the primal form of communication that people have evolved using. And so using a robotic voice narrator, while some have come a long way, just doesn't really seem to be a good way to go, especially with how many upvotes that comment got. Obviously, another thing is clickbait. Clickbait is obviously never going to be a good idea, and you always want to deliver what you are saying is going to be in the video. And a lot of people, I think, can also way over exaggerate. That's why, like, for my other channels, I try to back up what I'm saying by showing you reviews or showing you how I got a certain number, instead of just being like, here's a business that does $400,000 a month, and they don't even back up that number with anything. Another thing people don't like is when they exploit their children for views and income. Now, this actually goes with a few other things as well, as far as using other people and not even, like, they may even think that it's okay. They may not think of it as using their children or using some what would be like acts of kindness with other people who are just on the street or something, but really they're just doing those things not because they actually want to help people, or because they aren't even a good parent, but they're doing it to make themselves money, and they may not even be paying the people in the video, like the children, or maybe if they're giving something to homeless people or something like that. I think people see right through that stuff when you're not very transparent, or you're using other people almost like props in your video. Another person said they're really sick of people saying like, what's up you guys, and all this stuff, instead of just getting to the point. Some people just find that very annoying. Another thing I noticed that's pretty common is talking about bad sponsorships. So these people said like bad sponsorship sketches, they would almost rather watch like the skippable ads than see something like that. So some of them try to get a little too creative with sponsorship sketches. I've even seen rappers literally do a rap for the sponsorship of like a VPN or something like that, which may sound like, a creative idea that the company would love, but when in reality, a lot of times it just annoys the heck out of the people watching. Another person that got a lot of upvotes here basically said they're sick of all of the cuts, cutting out every little bit of silence, or which could actually add to the suspense or the moment or the processing of what was just said in the video. So they were mentioning how, the Mr. Beast style, where everything, there's a cut every like 5 seconds or less. Some people just get overwhelmed with that stuff. I've actually seen some YouTube channels rise up that do like the total opposite of that. One example would be like Dry Creek Wrangler School. This is a channel with 1 million plus subscribers where the guy just basically talks about the simple life of being a cowboy and literally lessons he's learned, tells stories on camera and things like that. Instead of doing a lot of crazy cuts all the time, it's more genuine. It seems like almost a conversation. I've seen more and more channels really do this with success. Another thing, of course, is overreacting. People are really getting sick of the crazy facial expressions and thumbnails, as well as just doing a bunch of fake reactions. Like, I always wonder, how do you know if a reaction is actually genuine? How do you know if that's the first time they really heard that song? How do you know if that's the first time they've really watched that movie, or played that game? You really don't. And you can really fake that very easily. But for some reason, people get a ton of views doing that because people like to see what other people think about something that they love. Another person mentioned not doing basic research and fact checking, which again kind of comes back to being genuine and actually doing your homework and putting in the work to make the video. Like, if it's a long video and you put no work into it and it's mostly just fluff, people are not going to come back. We've also got some other comments about irrelevant sponsors. Again, sponsors are a very big part of YouTube, and a lot of these people, if you read the replies, they'll be like, I know these YouTubers have to eat, I know they have to make money, but when you have sponsorships from companies that have nothing to do with what the actual channel is about and what the audience wants, then that's when people get a little pissed off. And then another one, of course, is obviously people sometimes don't like being told to like and subscribe, especially at the very beginning of the video. Like, I get that you want to obviously promote your content and it's in your best interest to grow your channel, but the problem is people are not stupid. They understand how to like and subscribe. Now, if I believe in doing that more at the end of the video, because it's like, if you made it that far to the end of the video, you most likely enjoyed it. And liking, for instance, giving them a reason to like. For instance, I will tell them like, hey, if this was helpful, please like it so that I know which videos get the most likes, and then I know what types of content to make in the future. Otherwise, it can be harder to figure out what the audience wants. For instance, subscribing. If you do things that are time sensitive, maybe you're talking about stocks or you're talking about job listings or whatever it may be, jump on this or whatever. Sometimes subscribing gets you ahead of the pack and can actually benefit you significantly by being one of the first people to see something, but it just depends on the channel. But I think a lot of times it's better to leave that for the end of the video instead of, starting your intro immediately. So now we're going to compare this to 4 years ago when a similar question was asked on r Ask Reddit. So they asked, what is something YouTubers do that annoys the crap out of you? So we're going to see if things are about the same as they are today in terms of what people hate about certain things that YouTubers do. So one person said something that's very similar to what is a problem for a lot of people these days, and basically talking about when people lie with their titles or their thumbnails. So a lot of times people will be misleading, and obviously that's never a good sign. Another person talked about how long the intro is, and this is something I remember Mr. Beast talking about when he was giving YouTube advice about how to basically cut out the intro and the outro of your videos. And of course, there's always the people who just want you to get to the point and remove all the excess fluff within the video so that it's not so long when it could have been much shorter. And then you see a couple other things talking about volume and how it may be inconsistent, or they use too loud of music in the background. I actually tried music in the background of one of mine one time, and I got some comments saying like, why are you doing this? So I never went back to that on my main channel. Also, thumbnails with overly excited open mouth expressions. Still, 4 years ago, that was a big deal that people got annoyed by. And that had 37,000 upvotes. Clickbait, fake giveaways, using their kids, a lot of these are very similar to what people have posted today. Also, the overuse of ads seems to be a big issue for a lot of people. You got 7,000 plus upvotes on that. And then also people, of course, talking about clicking the like button or smashing the like button. This example right here is talking about how some people will basically have these, smash the like button, please subscribe, and then, okay, oh, and we're going to do our sponsor. Oh, don't forget we have some new merch out. And then they'll do a little bit of content. And then at the end, buy something else or subscribe or what, a lot of the video, like half the video is made up of just sponsor, like, subscribe, stuff that people are not interested in seeing. So I would say the feedback is pretty consistent. These are some of the rules we've gotten from the users of Reddit and the most annoying things that people upvoted for what YouTubers typically do that they don't like. So stop with obnoxious thumbnail faces, screaming expressions, or wide open mouth expressions in your thumbnails. Use your real voice. Don't use computer or AI generated voices. Don't mislead people. Obviously, don't do any kind of clickbait. Back up your information with studies, with numbers, with reviews if you can. Don't use others to make you money as well. It kind of rubs people the wrong way in many cases when you are basically, giving something to people and you're basically just using it to make you ad revenue and you don't actually care about those people, or people who use their kids to make money, which I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon, because that's just, there are certain things, certain types of channels like toy review videos and stuff that are just very popular. But hopefully they're going to at least set aside a certain amount of that money for their kid as their kid, becomes 18. Also, be careful with sponsorships. Know what your audience cares about. Don't be doing the Shadow Legends game on every single video when it has nothing to do with it. That was the most common sponsorship people were annoyed with. Stop overcutting throughout your videos as well. This is kind of like the Mr. Beast syndrome. I think some people are getting really fatigued by that these days. Like I said, certain channels like Dry Creek Wrangler School or Sam Sulik, the bodybuilder, people like that who are doing more like real life type videos that are less cut, less, like covered in ads or covered in just crazy reactions or just over the top stuff or stuff popping up all over the screen. I think some people are getting more into back in the natural form of content that seems more like a conversation. Also, be genuine. Obviously, contribute original substance. If you're going to use other people's stuff, some people complained on Reddit about how people do these reaction videos and you have no idea if that's really even a real reaction or if they're just putting on a fake face to get views. And also stop telling people to like, subscribe, and all that stuff at the very beginning of the video when they haven't even seen the content and know whether or not it's worth liking or subscribing yet, because they haven't seen what you're actually putting out there yet. You're asking for that before you've given them anything in the video, and it just doesn't make sense in a lot of cases, even though a lot of YouTubers do that.